Hi guys, it's Dave from Iowa.
Hey Dave, how you doing?
Good. All right, I'll get right into it. Basically, as everyone knows, I'm huge into recruiting. Was pleased that USC picked up that defensive lineman from Wyoming this past week. However, my concern is that, he may not be strong enough and have the strength to play the nose tackle position, along with being undersized, theoretically, at the nose tackle position. Do you see any formations where Bear would be playing nose and then Gavin Meyer would be playing the D tackle position?
Well, so Gavin Meyer, if anyone doesn't know, he is the transfer they got this week. He's undersized. You're saying undersized. I believe it's like 292, I think, is what he's weighing right now. Everyone's looking for that 310 to 330 pound nose tackle that we want. I'm not sure why. Why are you saying that he might not be strong enough? Because I'll tell you what, Aaron Donald played at 285. I'm not saying that Gavin Meyer is Aaron Donald and by any shape, so please don't put that in my mouth. But how would Aaron Donald is one of the strongest football players I've ever seen play. Why are you saying that Gavin Meyer may not be strong enough?
Well, just because, again, like you say, or sorry, not like you say, but like everyone has agreed to, in terms of playing the nose tackle position, which is the one position that we do need, a quote unquote true starter and a guy that does have experience. I would assuming that, maybe he would be the role. But again, playing at 290, how many guys at 290 would actually have the nose tackle strength at the collegiate level?
Right. Well, I mean, valid point to hold that line. That is a valid point. My only thing I'm going to throw back is the rake situation really set them back. Losing Deja on the feet, that sets them back. Kobe Pepe does not have a lot of experience, but this is going to be that piece where we're going to see. We've all been excited. I know you all were. I heard everyone say how great excited we were to have Coach Henne coaching the interior line. We're now going to see how much he can develop who we have on the inside there. Matt, your thoughts on what Meyer might bring to the inside? I mean, you're right. He's going to be quote unquote undersized, but again, I think you just could, without trying to pull back too much, they know that, and they're just got to scheme around it. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'd be lying to you all if I told you, I've been following Gavin Meyer really closely. Like, I do not get paid enough for this job to just go in deep into the film room and the archives and look at every portal prospect. I know that some people do it, and I really admire the heck out of them for doing it. I'm not one. So I'd be lying if I said like I have the inside read on Gavin Meyer. I think the main story with Meyer, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like no one's saying like he's the game-changing piece of the puzzle. Like I think Isaiah Rakes came to USC with a lot more fanfare as a guy who could really change the equation. We never will find out how he was going to fit on the defensive line, but like he came with some fanfare. Gavin Meyer, I don't think it's the same splash, but that's neither here nor there. That's really irrelevant. The main story, guys, as far as I see it, is just the fact that USC and Coach Henne have another piece to work with. Woof. Henne now gets another piece to do some dog work with. And like in terms of USC reaching its ceiling as a football team this year, a big piece of this is Coach Henne being able to do really what Kirk Ferentz and Phil Parker have been so good at doing at Iowa. They get the lower ranked recruits, prospects, and they turn them into gold. They turn them into, they take maybe 2 or 3 star guys in terms of the rating system, and those guys leave as polished 4 or 5 star level players who are ready for the NFL. Like that is the Coach Henne difference, or at least that is what USC is counting on Coach Henne to be able to do. And so if he can turn Gavin Meyer, however good he might be, into a real quality piece, that's the kind of difference that can take USC from, right now I think USC is a 9-3 team in 2024. If Coach Henne takes the Gavin Meyers of the world and significantly elevates them, that's how USC can make that jump from 9-3 to 10-2, which in my mind is the difference between not making the playoff and at 10-2, making the playoff. So to me, it's just Coach Henne gets another piece to work with. And I don't know too much about the player, but I know that if Coach Henne does something special with him, then USC's getting a real value add on the defensive line, which is what the program so desperately needs.
And remember, you're going to have, when we were there at spring ball practice and we were talking about the versatility, because that's one thing that they want, they talk about all the time. They're going to have multiple fronts. They're going to have guys moving around. But when you talk about the guys that can play inside or outside, the one guy that Sean Nua just rolled right off his tongue, he said Anthony Lucas. I mean, because with Lucas's size, he's not a small guy. He's uber athletic. He's got that third year, strength. He's going to be a strong guy that can play inside or outside. You're going to have guys that that are coming in. So it's not that there's nobody there. And I agree with Matt. This move is definitely for Meyer is more towards a depth piece, because remember also, it's not just about Saturday with these bodies. You need to practice throughout the week. You need healthy bodies, through the week as you practice. And if you have guys that are thin in the middle and they're playing banged up and hurt, that's going to affect your practice. Your practice is going to affect your play on Saturdays. So you do need these talented players. I'm not disparaging Gavin Meyer. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say really, I'm going to hold my judgment to Gavin Meyer till I see him hold that line in the first game that he plays. We won't really know what Gavin Meyer's impact is, how big he'll be playing, until he steps foot on the field. You bring up a good point, Dave. We've been worried before the spring. We lose Rakes and we lose Lafitte. And now we're really down in the middle. They're bringing in Meyer. We're bringing some true freshmen coming in. And we're just going to have to see, is Abasiri going to be able to play on this side as a true freshman? There's a lot of question marks. I wouldn't start screaming Mayday yet. I think that it can be figured out, but there's no doubt about it, Dave. The middle of that defensive line is going to tell us how this team's going to go.
Gotcha. Well, thank you guys for the time. In terms of the topic of the show, in terms of my thoughts, hey, the NCAA screwed up, and they should have just had it be in terms of where they're going with it in terms of 2025 of schools paying the players directly rather than this whole NIL deal to create parity. But hey, those are just my thoughts on the topic of the show. Thanks for your comments on the Gavin Meyer edition. Fight on, Dave. Thanks for the call. Yeah, we're gonna. There's a lot. Just like we talked about the NCAA and how this is all going to shake out with the players and getting paid, and and when it's actually going to happen and how long the lawsuits continue. Same thing about this line. We're not going to know much about this line until we actually see it out there. And until then, I'm holding reservation and hope that they do get it figured out in the middle.
And then the comment is Gavin Myers. Now y'all got to check him out. I heard Matt say he ain't got time to dig into the files, into the archives. But if you watch him against Texas and Texas Tech, he was causing wreck. He was doing his thing. He was regularly getting in the backfield against Texas. He got to push. That's the number one thing I watch with defensive linemen. Do they get pushed around or do they push people around? And against Texas and Texas Tech, he was pushing people in the round. He was getting in the backfield, causing disruption. So I think Gavin Meyer going to be a sleeper. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. Because I watched him against 2 Power 5 teams, and he looked like he belonged.
And that is something. I mean, that's what you want from that nose tackle. And he put, for the amount of, he was not a full-time starter. I think he played 4 years, I believe, but he really only got significant snaps in the last 2 years. And but for an interior guy, he put up some good numbers with sacks, and tackles. The issue, like you said, is maybe he didn't have the size to sit there and demand the double team, or maybe be able to hold that line of some of these bigger offensive lines in the run game. But if he is that piece that can cause a havoc, that makes so they can't really double, and chip on Bear, getting Bear free, that might be all they need is, again, for them to have to play it straight up against Bear and let Bear eat. And then the guys, obviously, if he's causing havoc and he's getting and moving that pocket, that means that it's going to open up for our outside. So, I mean, I'm excited. I did see you, and I think a couple other people on USCJ's comment section talking about this kid's play in that Texas game specifically.
Yes, and against Texas Tech. To the point, by the time the second quarter came, Texas was double teaming him, and he was splitting double teams. So I'm like, hold on, like hold on, we gotta trust our coaches because he is a sleeper. When you watch him, it's like, oh yeah, bring him through. On the surface, it don't look like it because he's 280, but he's 6'4". And with the Wiley program, the strength and conditioning, I think he could gain 10 to 15 pounds in 4 or 5 months. I mean, the spring program players was gaining 10 pounds of muscle in only 6 or 8 weeks of training. So I think he's gonna start the season at 300, and I think he's gonna be fine.
He's 6'4". Yeah, and he 285. So maybe he can put some more weight onto that frame. I mean, we'll see when Rachel Suba gets feeding him and Betty Wiley gets him into the weight room. We'll see what happens. But also, I think some of the bigger changes I think we saw were among the younger kids. This guy's a 4th-year guy. I think if he was going to put some size on, he might have put it on. But who knows? Again, I'm going to hold all my judgment until I see him on Saturdays. You're right. He's got a lot of time. He's got a lot of time to build some mass. Let's say just put 10 pounds on. Let's say he's stepping in at 295, or sorry, at 302. If he can put on 7, 8, 9, I don't think the weight's going to be an issue. I think the earlier caller, I'm not sure if it was Adam or I can't remember if it was Adam or Leon. I don't know, or Dave even. The fact that he, his strength, I think it was Dave actually, his strength, that's a big key. Mass is a great thing to have. And someone else was talking about the fact that he's very lean. Maybe he's put some weight on. I mean, I don't know. Let's just see how he plays. We're all excited about having Eric Henderson as the line coach. Let's see what he can do. I mean, honestly, I don't think that they freaked out enough to throw, $800,000, $600,000 at a defense, a nose tackle. So I think that they know something. I think that obviously they know more than we do what that defense needs. And if they needed to throw $600,000 at a nose tackle, Matt, I'm pretty sure they would have.
I mean, this goes back to the specific discussion we had about if USC felt that the need was urgent enough and the player was good enough to meet that need, USC would have paid the money. I agree with that in general.
Yeah. Anything else for us, Carter?
Yep. I'm just gonna say you right. All mass ain't made equal. Just because you ain't 320, you could be stronger than somebody.
That's right.
320. And so I look at film. I look at is you pushing the offensive lineman back, and he was pushing the Texas. That was a great team. They had a great offensive line. They had a good team. He was pushing them back regularly. He didn't get pushed around. So I think he's big enough because he seemed strong. He wasn't getting pushed around. But thank y'all for letting me call in. Matt, Tim, I love the show. I'm going to keep watching and fight on.
Fight on, Carter. Yeah, you guys, again, if you are not checking out Carter Sports, go check it out. I have the link in the description section. Go check out his stuff. I'm a huge fan. Keep it up, Carter.